I've already said once what Max has said to me. I don't want to repeat over and over again. For me, we fight hard on the track. We fight hard in the stewards, and it's never personal. And what happened at the weekend, from my side to Max, was not personal. The same way as in the race, Max telling his team to check for Lando with the yellow flag is not personal from Max to Lando. It's part of racing, but the words he said is totally unnecessary. He's crossed the line, and I'm not going to accept it. So, you know, somebody has to stand up to someone who thinks he's above the law.
Yeah, George, about that, can you elaborate a bit on what happened in the stewards meeting, why these things happened, and also the aftermath of that, what then you guys said to each other? Have you spoken with him about it already? What can you tell us about it from your side?
I mean, we went into the stewards for the first 5 minutes. I didn't say a word because they were only talking to Max, and he was already angry and swearing at the stewards. And then when they asked for my opinion, I told them exactly the facts. I was following my delta time. We all have this lap time we have to follow. They also say if you're driving slow, you need to move off the line. And I wasn't trying to get Max a penalty. I was, at this point in qualifying, I was in first position. You know, Max, I don't even think Max was in second position at this point. I was just trying to prepare my lap. He was 20 seconds too slow on his lap. He was parked in the middle. And I didn't argue with the stewards. But Max was very angry that I didn't support him, because he was expecting me to say, no problem, you know, what Max did was okay. And it wasn't crazy dangerous. And was the penalty harsh? Maybe it was a little bit harsh, but these are the rules. We all have the rules, and we all have to follow it. I would love to go 20 seconds slower on my preparation lap to get my tyres ready, but I didn't.
Clearly you have different views on this. Did you sit down with each other and spoken about it with each other, just in private, look each other in the eye and talk about it?
Yeah, I went to speak with him on Sunday morning at the drivers' parade. Was myself, Max, Checo and Carlos. We almost laughed about it, but I could see in his eyes that he was angry, and the words that he said, he meant it. And for me, that was very surprising. You know, I haven't got him disqualified. It almost feels like he expects a double standard, you know, and if it's not going his way, then there's no way. And that's not how the sport works. So I was, as I said, I've known Max for 12 years. I've respected him all of this time, but now I've lost respect for him because we're all fighting on track and it's never personal. Now he's made it personal, and someone needs to stand up to a bully like this. And so far, people have let him get away with murder.
It's taken another. I mean, I don't know if you heard Max in the press conference. He said, I think I've written down the quote correctly, I never expected anybody to try that hard to get me a penalty, lying about what I was doing and why. So he's saying that you were being dishonestly, you were lying about what he was doing.
Well, not really. What he was doing was pretty clear. He was going too slow, and he was on the racing line, and we all have the rules to follow, and he doesn't follow it. So as I said, I find his comments pretty ironic when he comes out and says, I'm going to purposefully crash into you, I'm going to put you on your fucking head in the wall. For me, that is unacceptable, and he's gone beyond the line here, and I'm not going to accept it. So somebody's got to stand up to a guy like this before it gets out of control.
What further step would you take? Is there something you can ask for whether that's broken any more rules, not wanting to go back into
I don't want to
go
go to the steward's office. I don't want to. I had no intention of bringing this up. He said this to me on Saturday night, and I woke up Sunday morning feeling fine. But to come out of those press interviews and saying that I'm two-faced, that I'm a F-word and this and that, he's taking this personal. What happens on track is professional. What happens in the stewards is professional. And like Carlos said to him on Sunday morning, you would have done the exact same thing. And on Sunday in the race, he lifted through a yellow. Lando doesn't lift through a yellow, and he says to the team, check what Lando does. That's not personal against Lando.
Yeah.
That is just racing.
Let's go back to Qatar. Fabulous win after picking up that penalty on the Saturday night for an incident that happened on a cool-down lap for both you and for George Russell. You had a great meeting with the stewards going forward on the Thursday night about driving standards. Are you worried that the penalty that was given sets a precedent now going forward that drivers could use to get other drivers into trouble when you're both on a cool-down lap? Because it was kind of a historical penalty, and I can't remember an incident like that on a cool-down lap getting a penalty before.
Yeah, I'm going to go flat out on my cool lap, and I'm going to act like I'm going to crash with everyone. I know. I mean, honestly, I just didn't understand. Like, I didn't even know why I was in there. And yeah, then honestly, when I was in there, I was just trying to explain the story behind it. I was just trying to be nice, you know. Like a guy, Lando passed me because he was a second behind me on the SC2. He was on colder tires because he only did a build, or he had to abort his lap or whatever. So he passed me. I was like, okay, whatever. I just back out. I don't want to be in anyone's way. You know, we're anyway in Q3, just finding track position. Then I think Fernando came out of the pits with new tires, and I think it was quite clear that weekend with the new tires, you have to push quite hard on the outlap to get temp. So out of turn 10, I see him in the mirror flying. I'm like, okay, well, let him by, whatever. And then I just, you know, sort myself out. Then, of course, everything slowed up in front because there were quite a few cars. And I slowed down as well because I don't want to then speed up, try to ruin their preparation as well. And then I see someone flying in my mirror, acting like the most dangerous situation just happened. And he almost killed himself or something. It was unbelievable. And we're all on the slow lap. It's not even like someone was on the fast lap. So, yeah, when I got called to the stewards, it was a big surprise to me because I didn't really impede anyone. I think also on the slow lap, we all drive on our normal lines, you know, because we're all trying not to pick up dirt anyway. It's not necessary when everyone is driving slow. But then, yeah, I don't know how they came, of course, to that conclusion. It was, of course, for me, very disappointing because basically by actually trying to stay out of trouble, you put yourself in trouble. And also, I think at that point of the season, almost the end of the season, I don't want to be fighting with anyone. They come after me, you know, after qualifying, like, why didn't you ruin my lap to start my lap, you know, what are you doing? So I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to put myself in that position. But basically, by doing that, I put myself in that position where I had to be, going to the stewards. And, I felt straight away when I was in there, it was not going to go anywhere. So it was very weird.